Hey there, everybody, and welcome to the Fearless Road podcast, where we explore entrepreneurial insights, stories, and advice on embracing fear, breaking boundaries, and achieving goals on the road to success. I'm your host, Michael Devous. And after years of overcoming obstacles and tragedy, I began to wonder, how does someone become fearless? Well, that's exactly what we're going to find out. In every episode, we dive into the lives of individuals who've learned to turn fear into fuel, face some incredible challenges, and cultivate a fearless mindset while navigating their fearless road. So join me for in-depth interviews with some amazing people where we investigate more deeply the valleys on their road to success, because the valleys are where character is built, foundations are laid, and where the fearless are born. Welcome to the Fearless Road podcast. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Fearless Road podcast. Season 2 gets off this month and gets off its ass is what I mean. We've been on a huge break. I wanted to call it a hiatus, but then I thought hiatus, from my understanding, I thought it was a shorter term. And so like we went into the fall, we went into December for the holidays, and I had actually planned on releasing season 2 and coming out with season 2 in January. And then I decided I needed to push it back a little bit and reconsider the format of our shows, how we were doing them. They're really long episodes, by the way, which I enjoy because they're very in-depth conversations and stuff. But I wanted to look at a way to edit them down and put them into more bite-sized pieces, and I just couldn't quite get there. I really enjoy the long, lengthy, in-depth conversations. I think there's an audience for that. I know it might be smaller, and it doesn't appeal to the quick bite, quick fix people out there. So what I did was I decided instead keep the long version, but also add a new show, by the way, surprise, called Fearless Thinking. And that is going to be like 10 to 12 minute bite-sized pieces, little chunks, little pieces, more easily digestible format than the long, slightly winded version of the Fearless Road podcast, which is usually about an hour and 15 to an hour and a half of really in-depth conversations. And that plan was derailed by an entire month of getting sick in February. Weirdly enough, it wasn't COVID, but whatever it was a doozy, and I was out for an entire month. And then I had to push back a lot of other businesses, things in the pipeline, projects that were lined up, clients and things, all had to get pushed back in order to make space for the fact that I was out for an entire month. And here we are. Now it is coming up on April 1st. I'm getting ready to release this bad boy for episode 1 into season 2 of the Fearless Road podcast. And you know what? I'm so excited because episode 1, I've been sitting on this episode for a long time. It's with Karlis Bardelis. He is from Europe. He's from, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the Netherlands, Latvia. Anyway, I may have that wrong. But anyway, he is this incredibly ambitious, incredibly brave, and fearless world traveler who is also an entrepreneur and motivational speaker. One of the things that he does, I love it. One of the things, he literally rowboats, like rows in a boat around the world. He has rowed by himself in a boat across the Atlantic, across the Pacific, across the Indian Ocean. I mean, my God, when you think about the feats of bravery and adventure that this man has to take on, or does take on, when he's out there in the middle of the ocean all alone by himself, and it's just him and his mind and his wits about him having to problem solve. It's fascinating when you hear him talk about what you have to reduce everything down to in order to get to the solution. And sometimes what's magical about that is your mind will really come up with ways to save your ass in some of these situations, because that's kind of what it comes down to, right? Most of us, when we're in the entrepreneurial journey, the risks we take aren't going to cost us our lives. And I love that this puts these things into perspective for us, because what we do, while it might change lives and impact some lives, it's never going to kill anybody, least of all us, especially if we fail, right? Our failures are nothing compared to one failure in the middle of the ocean in a small rowboat, and what that could cost you. And what this show costs you, nothing but your time and your attention, which I appreciate. And I want to tell you that I do. I really appreciate your time and attention. That's very valuable to me. I'm very aware of the fact that most of us are getting used and abused by the social media power giants out there that just want more of our eyeballs, our precious and valuable time, attention, and our talents. And they're sucking the passion out of us, and they don't deserve it. You deserve a better place. You deserve a better opportunity. I'm actually building that place. It's a community called the Ascend Hub, coming this summer, and it's for entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, leaders, executives, and mentors. Anybody on that road, on that path that is trying to come together, not only to collaborate and share their wisdom and their strengths with one another, but share in the collaborative educational journey of both resources, education, courses, coaching, mentorship, workshops, live webinars, you name it. We're going to have it in there, and it's going to be all in one place, kind of like Ragu, it's in there. So, more on that will come later. And of course, if you get a chance, make sure you like and subscribe, not only this series with the Fearless Road podcast, but also the new one, Fearless Thinking, with yours truly, my short and more bite-sized, digestible, easily digestible series called Fearless Thinking, launching on April 1st on all your favorite platforms. So without further ado, which I say all the time and I still don't know what it means, let's get straight to season 2, episode 1 with Karlis Bardelis. Stay fearless.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, good to go.
Awesome. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fearless Road podcast episode. I don't even know which episode this is going to be because I haven't decided when I'm going to showcase this episode, although I will tell you that today I'm exceedingly excited about my guest on the program for a number of reasons, least of which is the 6 Guinness World Records and the fact that this individual has circumnavigated the entire globe by boat, rowing by himself on the oceans. Some of the things that you run into with fear in this world as an entrepreneur, a business person, or what have you, that make you reticent, that cause you to rethink your strategies and your patterns, that make you wonder whether or not you're going to be successful, are probably nothing compared to the fear that you would face in the middle of the ocean alone. And if it's not a testament to a person's strength and fortitude and constitution, it is a testament to the human endeavor and what we can accomplish when we put our minds to it and when we really make magic happen. And today, my guest is Karlis Bardelis, world-renowned personal rower, Olympic. I wouldn't say Olympic because you haven't competed in the Olympics yet, but you did go to the Olympics, and we will get into that in a little bit. But Karlis Bardelis is with us. He's not in a boat. He is in studio.
Absolutely.
He is going to be sharing with us. Yes, he's going to be sharing with us some incredible stories and sharing with us his fearless journey. So everybody, please welcome to the Fearless Road podcast, Karlis Bardelis.
Hello, welcome on board, Michael and everyone who is listening. This is
Captain Karlis.
Captain Karlis speaking here from very comfortable couch from today. But yeah, it's been some time in the ocean, and it's been some time across three oceans. Unfortunately, I have to correct you a little bit because I'm a circumnavigator in the process. I still have to cross Africa on my bicycle, but well, it's only 5,000 kilometers, so
I guess I'm going to have to bring you back on the show once you're finished so that we can talk about when you're done and I can make the official announcement about it.
yeah. I'm glad to be here. Thanks.
Well, thank you. Thank you for joining us. I love how we connected, via the Speaker Lab. I love that you're bringing your message to the world and taking it beyond the ocean and beyond your own personal experience in the waters, and how dealing with and facing your own personal fears and shortcomings, your own limits, and pushing those to the extreme can help a person think outside the box, approach problem solving from a different perspective, and address their own personal challenges and hurdles a little bit differently. And I think that's an incredible message to be sharing with the world. before we get into sort of like all of those different things, share with us a little bit of your background, if you will, for the audience who doesn't know you and doesn't know your experience, how you got to where you are, as you say, connect the dots for us on your professional and your personal journey, and how you took this on.
Yeah. All right. Let's start. Let's start in just all this Board of Borders story started 10 years ago, and that's been an incredible journey. Well, they under the name of Board of Borders, I do many type of human endeavors. I would say adventures, but before that, I was working as an environmental engineer in a company, in a recycling company, which is actually my education and my background. Bachelor in economics and master degree in environmental management. So, yeah, that was what I was doing before, and before all these big adventures. And I had a hobby. I love to climb mountains on my vacations, and one week or one maximum 1 month in a year I could get a vacation. So, and after some of those holidays, I was thinking that how I could prolong this time that I'm spending in adventure, because that's where I felt the most alive and the most fulfilled. So, yeah, after one of those journeys, one of those climbs in Scotland, because I'm from Europe myself. I'm from northeastern Europe, from Latvia. It's a quite small country, but we have some climbers even here, and some rowers, and some people who dare to go on the big journeys and adventures. So that's my background. I was actually a guy from the office, basically, and in 2015 I just Googled how to row an ocean. So that's how you start. That's how you start, basically.
That's how you start, ladies and gentlemen. That rabbit hole that most of us go down when we Google, Karlis took that seriously, and he took that rabbit hole. Just so you're aware, those of you who can't see us you're just listening to the podcast, Karlis is wearing a black turtleneck, and I am wearing a black turtleneck. We did not plan this.
No.
It happens to be cold here where I'm at in the mountains of New Mexico. It's also freezing cold where Karlis is in Latvia, which you said, I think it's 1 degree Celsius there.
Yeah, 1 degree Celsius now outside. So, yeah. So pretty
yeah,
cold.
We're both in turtlenecks, and we look like the guys from Saturday Night Live. We're gonna do a modern dance routine here shortly. So after you Googled, I just can't believe it. I love that you did this. How old were you? Were you 20, 24?
No, now I'm 38. So all these.
But when you Googled, what were you?
When I Googled, I was 30. Yeah, that was 8 years ago. Yeah, yeah. So,
oh my God.
So basically, I'm not a rower, nor athlete, nor sailor.
Yeah, you're a Googler.
I'm a Googler.
That was the limit of your skill set.
Just yeah. Because be aware what you Google, because it might take you somewhere. So,
my gosh, for some reason, when you and I spoke the last time and we were talking about this, in my head, I had you were like 24 when you did this and started. And I was like, wow, he was young. He's been doing this for years. But the fact that you were 30 and you took this on at 30, you already had some life experience under your belt. You already had some risk assessment about things you could or could not do in your life. And yet you still Googled how to do this and went, yeah, I'm going to do that at 30. I'm going to try.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, that's a good point that you are asking about this, because there was so many obstacles in my mind that was like in the way before I went on this journey at the age of actually 28, when I started Board of Borders, there was some other adventures, also human-powered, like roller skated across Europe, cycled from Latvia to Sochi Olympic Games, then pulled my sled.
I just love it.
Yeah,
You
so
just wait. You rollerbladed across Europe. Is that what?
yeah,
You
yeah,
just want to
from
make sure we all heard you correctly.
yeah. So
I might rollerblade. Oh, I don't know, down the street, but not across an entire country or six.
actually, I think it was 9. Well, in Europe, there are small countries,
Yes.
but still, it was
Yeah, yes.
6,300 kilometers from north to south of Europe, and it took me 2 months. Yeah, it was an amazing journey, and that's how this Board of Borders journey started. But before I stepped into this unknown, there were some obstacles. There were some things that I was afraid of, like how I'm going to survive, like how I'm going to support myself financially, where I'm going to live, and all these things.
Yeah.
Everyone has.
Because you don't get paid to roller skate across Europe, right? There's not nobody was hiring for that position.
No, that vacancy was already taken.
There's no insurance program. There's no.
No, absolutely. So
before we get further, ladies and gentlemen, so you're listening to the Fearless Road podcast. It's Michael Devous, your host, and Karlis Bardelis, my special guest from Latvia, Europe. If we have sound issues or anything like that, we apologize, but we are dealing with whatever tech we're dealing with and the networks and stuff. I am currently dealing with a small little heater in this cabin in the woods here because I don't have heating. So if you hear the heater, then you know I'm just trying to keep warm. And so let's get back to Karlis talking about roller skating across Europe as one of his first challenges. That did not deter him. That did not sway him. He continued to Google bigger challenges. Karlis, take it away.
Yes, because when you are hooked on this amazing journey, like of moving across Europe, across continents, you don't want to lose this amazing feeling of moving all the time, being in adventure. It was just what I loved. It was just what I loved 100%. And after first adventure, when I came back, I was just curious, like what would be the next adventure? And well, I already knew it that I had some friends, weird friends to say the, the least. I mean, who wanted to cycle to Sochi Olympic Games in the winter time. So we faced temperatures minus 20 or minus 24 Celsius. So I don't know what's that in Fahrenheit, but it's like 20 degrees below the freezing. So I was just hooked on this adventure thing. And
so when you got bit by the bug, as they say, you were seriously bit by the bug. Were you enjoying riding in that cold? I mean, how did you stay warm in those temperatures? I would imagine for those of us who, if anyone out there has done any kind of like winter sports, downhill skiing, things like that, you know, when you wear the gear, you work up a temperature, you work up a heat in your body, and you can sweat inside the clothing. How did you stay dry? How did you stay warm without overheating? And how did you maintain your temperature, core temperature and stuff while bicycling and roller skating in that freezing cold?
So roller skating, just to underline that roller skating I did in the summer, so it was fine. There was 5.
Much easier than on ice and snow.
Absolutely. Well, I would say it's close to impossible. But I had 5 friends with me, and so they just drove down the camper van and we went together on that journey, all together. And they were preparing meals. They were making sure that we have a place to stay. So I was good on that. And also on this second journey to Olympic Games in Sochi, in freezing
Right.
cold, we had the friends who joined us, who were finding the safe place for us to stay for the night. So regarding to dry our clothes, all was set, all was done. But how we kept ourselves so warm? Well, we had some tricks, let's say. There is a specific like a cream gel that you use to warm up. Let's say if you have a soaring knee, and then you need just like a small tip of this gel that you put on the knee, and in that gel there is red peppers. So they
was it capsaicin?
yeah, that's the same. We have the same here in Europe.
Capsaicin.
So, and
Yeah.
you know that you have to put just a small drop of that gel. So what we were doing, we used that gel like a sunscreen with like thick layer of that capsicum. We were using like a sunscreen. We put like in a thick layer all over our bodies, and then we put our clothes on, and we were sitting inside, like in a hotel or the place where we were staying, till the moment when we couldn't bear this like the burning heat of that gel. So then we just run out. We jumped
Oh
on our
my gosh.
bicycles, and we cycled quite a lot. We cycled about 100 miles, like 170 kilometers a day on average. So yeah, a little bit more than 100 miles.
Did you train up to that? Did you train to get up to that amount, or did you just start and to see and push yourself to see how far you could go?
Well, it would be unfair if I would say that, oh, I just jumped on the bicycle and went minus 25 degrees Celsius and 170 kilometers a day. Well, I definitely did some training, but I wouldn't call myself an athlete, nothing close to that. But I already had under my belt that 2 months journey across the Europe with the roller skates. And
Okay.
but basically all my life I have been, like, let's say, active. When I was a kid, I played basketball in a school, and then I learned how to ski and snowboard, and then climbing, ice climbing, rock climbing. So I've been active all my life, but never close to being any like athlete level or anything like that. So, but yeah, when you just switch on this it's a mindset. Like, you switch on the mindset that, okay, I will do this 170 kilometers. I will just resist this cold weather, and yeah. So I don't know whether I have some let's say formula for that, but it's a choice. Actually, it's a lot of choosing your attitude.
Well, it sounds like it's a
definitely.
mindset. I mean, like you have to set your mind to it, and you chose to put your mind to it and establish a mindset that said, I'm going to do this. My body and I'm going to take on this challenge. I'm going to do it.
Yeah, Michael, I could agree. It's very similar to the to like technique. Not technique. The way we dress in the winter here in Europe, we just have one layer, then we another layer. So we have maybe 3-4 layers, and it's fine, And if you don't have those layers, you will be freezing to your death. And what? Yeah. So therefore, I would say that definitely I was adding some layers to my mindset, to my brain, while I was going through some challenges before that, across Europe with the roller skates, climbing in Alps, in Norway. There was an accident in Norway where I fell down from the freezing waterfall like 8 meters, and I broke my leg, and a lot of things happened. First time when I was as a climbing student in Caucasus, in Russia, between Russia and Georgia. First time when we were there, we had to rescue our instructor because he was struck by the lightning. I mean, not directly, but
What?
the lightning struck into the mountain. Like, we were on the edge of the mountain. Yeah, it's. I mean, all these things, they sound like, oh, come on, this guy is just telling some fairy tales. But really, that's a true story.
But
And
that's, I mean, it's loud and it's powerful. Imagine that you guys, even though you were near him, you would have felt the power of that lightning and the lightning clap, as they say, that incredible sound.
yeah, we were in the group of like 12 people, and our instructor was on the back of the pack. So we already moved. I was in the front of the group, so afterwards we had to come back and rescue our instructor because, yeah, he was injured. So we had to transport him down to the snow level, and then there were some guys who came to carry him to the closest hospital. I mean, that's in Caucasus. There isn't like, oh, in 5 minutes you have the helicopter to rescue you. Yeah, it's a bit.
No, it's very remote, right?
Yeah, that region was quite remote, and yeah. So all these
Oh my gosh.
adventures, all these expeditions, they added some layer. They added some ability of this resilience. They added some kind of layer, and also definitely this attitude and mindset that was adding on, and now I would say that yeah, actually it's easy to row an ocean. You can do that, but yeah, I can
That's
say
not a
that.
statement I would ever make.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of
Well,
things I'll say, oh, that's easy, but that would not be one of the things that I would. I mean, this is incredible, the things that you took on, but from a very weird and geeky standpoint, I would wonder about my father was a neuroscience and a doctor who specialized in brain imaging, actually
oh,
developing some
wow.
of the brain imaging science and algorithms and technology in order to do that. But I would be curious if your mind, if your brain, if we were able to take an image like a CAT scan or brain imaging of it, to see what kind of neuroplasticity that you've developed as a result of putting yourself through some of these challenges, and then mentally adjusting your expectation for performance, your expectation for delivery, your expectation of what's coming in front of you, right? What challenges are ahead, and adjusting your thinking in such a way that tells you, oh, I can take this on and I can manage this from a mental standpoint, right? From a mental strength standpoint. This is something that all of us, I think, when we're in sports, learn how to do just to a certain degree. We learn how to challenge our bodies and face physical challenges, but it's also your mind convincing you that you can push yourself further than you think you can go. And I wonder about when we get into the comfort of life and the corporate world and working in an office environment and comfortably sitting in our chairs for 8 hours a day, we lose some of this particular skill set where we're able to envision ourselves achieving something greater and bigger beyond our own personal limits, and then taking that on, right? There's not a lot in the workplace and corporate world and the work environment that allows the opportunity for us to begin to take that mental state and challenge ourselves. And I think what you're doing in terms of, like you said, putting layers on is such a fascinating concept and such a fascinating endeavor. It would be amazing to apply that, I think, to strategies in business.
Yeah, Michael, I think, as you said, when we are kind of surrounded by this delicate warmth of the office or of our safe life or something like that, but then at the same time, I would say, like 15 years ago, I was that guy. Like I was in the office working like towards my next raise and etc. etc. But you know, there should be something that you're interested in. There should be some spark in your eyes, because back then I could remember that I can remember that I was interested in books about journeys, about climbing, and that was my inspiration, you know. So
Okay.
I surrounded myself with the inspiration that could be in form of books, that could be in form of movies, that could be in form of podcasts now. Many type of inspirational sources you could choose. Um, and there is something in each one of us that resonates with something outside that we haven't yet tipped our toes in, but we kind of are curious, like, would I be able to
Well,
do that
sure. I think,
actually? Yeah.
well, I think you're talking about human stories. I think the stories are what connects us. I think the stories are what inspires us. I think the stories of other humans achieving things that we dream about doing for ourselves, right? That's how we get inspired, by the stories of other humans. And today, ladies and gentlemen, Karlis Bardelis is sharing his story with us, and it's incredible. If you're just joining us, Karlis Bardelis from Latvia, circumnavigating the globe by human power, rowing or bicycling or roller skating or rollerblading, as the case may be, has taken on incredible feats of strength and mental acuity in order to achieve things that most of us would never even think of trying or attempting. So Karlis is here, and it's this is incredible. This is an amazing journey for me just to be witnessing and participating. I really thank you for sharing your time with us today and taking us on this journey. So Board of Borders is your title. It's your moniker. It's your tagline, if you will. And obviously, I had said before that your last name, Bardelis, sounded like borderless.
Absolutely.
And borders seem to be, yeah. So borders are the thing that you tackle. You have no borders in your mind. You cross borders around the world. What do borders mean to you, philosophically speaking? What do borders mean to you? And ladies and gentlemen, that concludes part one of our interview with Karlis Bardelis, where we last asked him about borders and what do borders mean to him. If you want to know more, check out part two and then, of course, part three. This is a good one. All right, we'll see you at the next episode.